Dean, that last one's really helpful
Mm-hmm.
because I've constantly, I think the part of the things that I was gripping in the past were the thought of being on the deathbed and making everything a bigger deal than it was when
Mm-hmm.
you're in your 20s and 30s and 40s and whatever else before. But
Mm-hmm.
I think the concept of no, you're not going to be gripping anything at that point. All of your it's all just going to melt, and I think that's really helpful. It's part of our like struggle in life is to prepare for like a successful final end to it where you can look back on all the things. I mean, at least in my
Ta-da!
crazy mind, right? Yeah.
Ta-da!
It's not
Right.
that.
Yeah. No, it's not ta-da. It's ah. It's ah. Ah. Right. That whole and I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, I did that so much earlier in my life. Um, and see, the unspoken assumption behind that is that life is this, it's this movie, it's this story, it's this arc, and the arc has to have the right ending, the right culmination, right? It's like a symphony, right? You know, you listen to those Beethoven symphony, all those interesting, all those classical symphonic composers. They're trying to get to the big finish, and there's not a lot of ways that they find to do that. Bum 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 bum, right? And you kind of go, oh, that again, you know. So we're all kind of looking for that, but that's bullshit. It's imaginary. It's so much.
Ravel is a great one for this because I
Ravel.
mean, aside from Bolero, which I can't remember right now how it ends, but just all of his piano works are very like, "Da," and they all just kind of like lift up, and you're just like, well, I guess that was it. Like,
Yeah.
it's very there's definitely it's a mountain to and then it peters off.
The Brahms third. It's one of my favorite things actually. The Brahms third. Every movement ends in quiet.
I've always loved that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just so much simpler than anything we could have thought of, and it's so delightful as we continue to discover, no, wait, simpler than that. No, simpler than that. Yeah, yeah. And some of this comes just with being older. I mean, forget about, meditation, Dharma practice. I mean, hopefully. I mean, I guess there's some people that get older who don't get this. But, there's a traditional kind of understanding of the so called wisdom of age. Uh, and a lot of it, I find, is just like, so many things that seemed so urgent when I was in my 20s and my 30s. And it's now like, God, what was all the fuss about? Here I am. Here I am. I'm being. What else do I need? Yeah. And that gets easier to see as your experience of being, of just being, gets richer. And for that, meditation is the method, to just stew in that for a while and see when you're sitting there. There's no symphony playing, there's no troupe of dancing girls, there's no feast, right? Um, we went out the other night, actually, our my cousin Mark, who's been staying here for a couple of weeks, and he took us out because he's leaving today. He took us out to the best sushi restaurant on the west side. Um, Kristen, do you know Hama in Venice? It's on the Venice Circle. Anyway,
I don't think I ever went. No, I'm bummed out now because that sounds great.
okay, next time you're in town, let's go to Hama. Okay, okay. Um, it is it, so we're just sitting, and Mark's very into food and cooking, and so we're ordering the incredible baked mussels with the mushrooms and the, and just, and one course after another, and it was just, you know it's great. And so that's great, that's fine. But um, then you sit and close your eyes. You're not eating sushi, you're not watching a great movie, you're not doing anything, and it's, you're completely fulfilled. And what happens is, more and more then, because you're fulfilled with nothing, you're fulfilled with just being, and just being is always there, and more you're vividly aware of that, as the as you're going to the movie, as you're going to the restaurant, and so forth, then the enjoyment of that becomes even richer.
Right, without having to exploit the sushi.
Without having to exploit, without having to require, if it's great, then great, and then if it sucks, if it's disappointed, you're kind of, yeah, but you kind of more find yourself laughing at it, you know. And this stuff, especially in areas where people tend to have so much investment, like relationship. Oh, we got to get this right. We're working on the. I hear people say, we're working on the relationship, and I think, oh, I don't. I used to tell my first wife, Maggie, was who I was married to when I had a job, and I would come home from teaching school all day, and she would tell me about some friend who she was on the phone with, who said, "Well, we're working on the relationship." I said, "I don't want to work on. I want to come. I come home from work to the relationship." Right? I mean, I understand sometimes there's things that you have to work out, of course, but um, this idea that you've got to get everything in the relationship right, that you've got to get the relationship to that point of ta-da, right? No, there's some stuff, like, that some aspect of it doesn't work out the way you had envisioned it. Um, it's like, the plate comes in the restaurant not quite what you would hope for. You laugh and you enjoy, and there's the underlying sharing of being together, aka love, and then nothing else. Everything else is kind of more and more dwarfed by that. Everything's more and more put in perspective by that. You know, it's such a relief. Yeah.